Welcome to the Healthy with Heartland podcast, the show built around bringing value to the Mid-Atlantic and growing. We're committed to helping families eating cleaner, safer, healthier foods. I'm Matt Balducci, husband, father, two-time TEDx speaker, ex-bodybuilder, and I'm here with my co-host, Jay Money, the Sultan of Sourcing, the Bavette Barista. The names go on and on. So welcome again, Justin. Welcome back.
What's going on, Matt? How's it going, Heartland family?
It is good. Hopefully everyone's out there. So guys, today just comment below. Comment if you have any questions. We have a special guest today, and we're super excited to make that announcement. But before we do, I'm going to pass over the mic to Shannon to make some Heartland announcements.
Awesome. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. We'll go through the normal rundown. If you guys have not already, make sure you follow us on Facebook. Check out all of our delicious food photos on our Instagram page. And if you miss any of our podcasts, you can always check out the full episodes and of our recaps at youtube.com/heartlandhomefoods. We did mention one of our new products that we had released last week. Justin talked about it, Cobia. So if you have not tried it, make sure to reach out to your wellness consultant. It's fantastic. Add it to your next order. Speaking of your next order, if you guys are due for a reorder, we have an awesome special for you this month. It's a whole turkey included with your reorder, absolutely free. So give us a call, reach out to your wellness consultant, or you can check us out at reorders@heartlandfoods.com. We're super excited to get into the podcast today. We have Debbie here with us, as Justin and Matt had talked about. So we'll go ahead and get into it. Back to Justin and Matt.
Awesome. So real quick, guys, I want you guys to understand who our guest is today. Her name is Debbie Kale. Follow her on Facebook. She puts up some really good content. But Debbie's background, she's the mother of three, a 19, 14, and 12-year-old, all boys. So busy, especially with what's going on in the world right now with distance learning. And she has actually been a customer of Heartland for the last 5 years. And the reason we have Debbie on today is we want to talk a lot about what's going on in the world and, you know, how she's balanced being a mompreneur. Is that what we want to call it?
Yes,
mompreneur, right? An entrepreneur, which is, you know, basically she runs a couple different companies, one being Doterra and the other one being Color Street, which she has had really, really good success with, and she can discuss kind of how she's balanced being a mom, an entrepreneur, as well as being one of our best referral partners in Heartland. So over the last 5 years, she's gotten 3 free orders of food. She's working on number 4. Oh, yeah, dropped the bomb on that one.
Huge.
She's working on number 4, which if you don't know what our referral program is, I'm not going to steal any of the juice here. I'll let Justin and Debbie talk a lot about the details, and we are going to be making an announcement in a couple weeks to make it even better, which I don't know if Debbie even knows about it, which I don't know if she does. We're not going to mention too much about it, but
I've told no one.
Perfect. So it's going to be even easier in the future to get free orders, which is going to be phenomenal. And so with that, I'm excited, Debbie, to have you. I know Justin's excited. I know you've been a customer with him for 5 years, and you have generated, I think, 22 other families that are now on our service eating cleaner, healthier, safer food. So welcome aboard, Debbie.
Thank you so much for having me. Ooh, listen to the applause.
Welcome.
Perfect. So,
Thank you.
Justin, you wanna get started with some questioning?
I don't know where to start. I think for everybody to know, Debbie and I are really good friends. So 5 years she's been with the service. And another great thing that you might not know is I'm actually a customer of Debbie's.
Awesome.
That is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Debbie, let's first just talk about, I got a lot of questions. I think people should know about Doterra. So let everybody know, you know, what you're doing, what Doterra is, and how it benefits people in the health and wellness community.
Sure. Well, it's coming up on 7 years since I have been a doTERRA wellness advocate. And I really didn't know anything about it. And so I was kind of doing the regular mom thing with my kids. We weren't taking any supplements. We were doing all over the counter products with regards to our health and wellness, dealing with colds, dealing with allergies, dealing with just, the general malaise that falls on any family really in the ebbs and flows of the seasons. And a friend of mine was starting to talk about it a little bit online, and I'm like, what's she up to? And so I invited her to my home to teach an educational class, which unfortunately you can't really do that now in the era of COVID, and so many things are online. But back then it was a lot of in-person classes. So I had her over and I put the word out to my friends in the neighborhood, and I said, listen, I'm going to find out more about doTERRA and essential oils and how how that can be a benefit. Does anyone else want to come? And I probably had about 10 people here, so it was a great social event. And the thing that I learned that night that I think was the turning point that has led to so many other things is that our bodies were made to heal themselves. We weren't put on this planet to need prescriptions, to need medications, to need all of these things. Our bodies were meant to heal themselves. And I was like, oh, that, talk about a mic drop. It really was like a light switch. And I thought at the time I was using like the in-between shower spray. I don't know what the brand was, but it's like you, instead of squeegeeing, you like spray your shower. I'm like, wow, because we were talking about everything, not just what you put in your body, but what you put on your body, what you inhale in your environment. And it was a light bulb moment. I'm like, my gosh, that's like a daily cancer closet that I'm standing there and I'm making this treatment in my shower and I'm inhaling it. And I was all in from day one. And people that know me tend to know that about me, that if I am happy about a product, you're never going to wonder if I'm happy about it. I'm always going to tell people, share with people, let them know the benefits that I have found from using these products. And so I got rid of all of our cleaners and I got rid of all of our over-the-counter medications. And then it just became think oils first. And essential oils work with your body and they support the systems that need to do the work in your body. So we don't talk a lot about oils healing necessarily, but I've seen some really amazing things and I've heard some really amazing testimonies from using the oils. And I know that in the 7 years I've been using them, I've been sick one time. And I feel like that's because I'm daily boosting my immunity and I'm not putting things in my body that have fragrances, fillers, just all the stuff that gunks up your body's ability to heal itself. And I've advocated that my family do that. And so my kids all take vitamins and we're taking probiotics and we're taking digestive enzymes. A lot of people don't know that doTERRA carries a full line of supplements. And so I'm really a product of the product. And I use the supplements even more than I use the oils now. Because if I don't have something that I need an oil for as a emergent need that moment, it's because I'm using the supplements and my needs for the oils are less. And that was actually something that came out in a convention a couple of years ago. They're like, this is going to sound crazy, but we want you all to need the oils less because of the supplements that are just building your body and building your immune system and helping all of your different body systems to work better. But yeah, we absolutely love them. And then the next part after that, as far as getting chemicals out of my home, I started using Norwex products. Now I'm not a rep for them, but I'm a big fan. And so we don't use any chemicals. We don't use any bleach. We don't use anything. Even through COVID, it's all about a Norwex cloth and water. So that's the extent of the products as far as cleaning in my house. And then I wanted to start buying organic food, but the price tag in the grocery store was really cost prohibitive and scary, quite frankly. And a friend of mine told me about Heartland and I called Justin and the rest is history. We love it. We eat the heck out of it. It just makes us all feel better about what we're putting in our bodies. So now it's like the full package, full circle, really.
That's amazing. Yeah. And I think one of the reasons why you and I connect so well and why we've been friends and this has worked out, this relationship is just because the health and wellness factor of just not just the food, not just the oils, it's a belief in the total detoxing of the toxic load that you put on your body in all shapes. So I love that you live that. And on the doTERRA, I guess I've been on it now for about 5 years. I say on it like it's a drug or something. The lifelong vitality pack, the supplements, it's like you said, since I started doing that, all of a sudden I don't get sick anymore. So I'm sure that has a lot to do with it, specifically what you taught me about On Guard. And maybe you can tell me if this is true, but I saw something where they tested On Guard in a petri dish next to the Clorox and all these chemicals, and the On Guard actually performed better eradicating virus or whatever was in that maybe it was bacteria. I'm not sure. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about how On Guard works.
Yes, for sure. There have been many a fifth grader and in a science fair with mom that does doTERRA that they've decided to use On Guard in an experiment at the science fair, and they obtain these petri dishes and they take a swab of a backpack, for example, and they pair On Guard with Clorox or Lysol, and the On Guard always performs better. It's got cinnamon oil, which is the main. It's 5 different oils in the blend, but the real important player there is cinnamon oil. So nothing can live in the presence of cinnamon oil, and it actually is what's considered a hot oil. So if you're going to use this on your skin just straight, you would want to use it with a little bit of a carrier oil. But the fact that it's in the concentration that it is in the special proprietary blend of On Guard, you can put it on the bottom of your feet, which it's great absorption for your whole body, or you can diffuse it into the air and it kills stuff in the air, and it's a great way for the entire family to benefit from the presence of that oil in the air. So yeah, a lot of folks are really skeptical, quite honestly, and a lot of medical professionals don't really delve into the idea of oils because it's not in the medical textbooks. But honestly, prescription drugs, over-the-counter drugs, they only came into existence about 100 years ago. People have been using the power of plants for as long as we've been around on the earth. You know, we are the original medicine, really. We being doTERRA and being essential oils, and I consider pharmaceuticals and over-the-counter drugs to be the alternative medicine, because really I want to use something that my body knows what to do with. You know, it processes oils just like plants process oils. It's part of the building blocks that our body knows how to handle it. And to your point on the vitamins are food based. So if you do any kind of research on vitamins at all, you're always going to see, don't take that little hard cinder block of a pill that you can buy in a bottle at Walgreens. That's going to go through your system. Your body can't break that down. But ours are created in such a way, and with plant-based, food-based ingredients, your body processes it like food. So that's why they're so effective. They're like 99% effective as a vitamin goes. So they're really, really powerful.
Yeah, that's the absorption, right? It's a lot of people
Yes.
don't realize the supplements aren't going to do any good if you don't get really good absorption with it.
That is phenomenal.
Exactly. Yeah, plus you've got
phenomenal.
megavitamins. You've got megavitamins that give you so much that all you're doing is excreting everything you don't need. These are balanced to be exactly what you need and nothing more, based on a typical American diet. Even so much so that it's based geographical. So people in Asia who eat more fish, they have a different formula for their vitamins that are sold in their market based on what is in their normal diet for that area. It's pretty neat science when you think about it.
Really, Debbie, you are a biohacker, is really what you are. This is actually unbelievable information, and this is awesome for everyone out there that's listening, that right now, especially with what's going on with the pandemic, you know, this is probably the best time, if it's not a wake-up call for most families out there or most individuals, that it's time to get your immunity strong and make sure that you're set up to be successful health-wise. So that way, if hypothetically you did catch it, you have a higher chance of, you know, not having long-term effects of, you know, the COVID virus. And so I think it's phenomenal. And I'm going to, instead of being a mompreneur, really you're a socialpreneur, because the fact that, you know, you just told the neighborhood and you had 10 people come over to learn information about a product that you were just learning about tells me something about you as a person, which means that, you know, one, you're obviously, from just listening to you, you're extremely passionate, which is huge, and I'm getting excited about your product. But two is that, you know, that means that, you know, you have this social influence, and it sounds like, you know, even, you know, as a mom, you are a momfluencer maybe is a good word for it. I don't know, but it's exciting, and I just love the fact that, you know, bodies were made to heal themselves. I've read a bunch of books on this, and I'll tell you right now that most people don't even really know that. And I'm not going to go down any crazy paths here, but we are animals, all right? When we forget that sometimes, and that's what you're really talking about today, is how do you use the actual world around us, you know, the supplements, the fruits, the healthy foods, in terms of that. So let's dive into a little bit more on supplementation, because I'm a huge supplement nut. So let's say someone's listening right now and they're like, listen, I just want to get started. I don't have supplements right now in my home. I don't know what I should be taking. I'm not, I don't have time to go research and figure out who's the best. And I am going to Walgreens and buying we all know that they're not the greatest supplements, right? So,
Sure.
Maybe just some quick tips to the mom out there or anybody really that's listening on supplementation as a whole. Like, what should they start with?
We have our Lifelong Vitality Pack, which Justin mentioned. So that has 3 components to it. One is an omega, the fish oils, which you can get a vegan version, incidentally. And so that's going to be brain health and skin health. Our brains are largely oil, and they need that oil replenished. And so the omega oil is really important. And then we have a multivitamin, your A, B, C, all your letters, and you can get that as a 2-pack, or you can get it as part as a 3-pack. So we've got the Lifelong Vitality Pack, which is the multivitamin, the omega, and then it's got a 3rd component called the Alpha CRS, and that is for energy and inflammation. So when I give my kids vitamins, they only get the 2-pack, which is called the Daily Nutrient Pack, because Lord knows they don't need more energy. So they get the 2-pack, I get the 3-pack, because we all live with inflammation. Oh yeah, there's my precious love muffins there. And then we all do a probiotic. So the probiotic that we take is also from doTERRA. It's called PB Assist, and it's got the prebiotic that feeds the microorganisms that are part of the probiotic, and we take those. So your gut goes from your mouth all the way to your exit point, and it's everything in between. So healthy oral hygiene is important to your gut health. Your gut is your second brain, and the biome, and as it's affected down there in your belly and your intestines and what you're doing with what you're putting in your body, it affects your immune system immensely, and it affects your brain. And it's so important that you have a healthy gut biome. And so a very good probiotic will do that for you, will help balance out the microorganisms that are in your gut. And then thirdly, my younger 2 don't take this, but I take it, and my oldest son takes it, and it's called Terrazyme, which is a digestive enzyme. We get enzymes from our food when it is raw and uncooked, which not a lot of people eat enough raw, uncooked, green, leafy. I think it's vociferous. Is that the word? No. No. Help me out.
Yeah.
Cruciferous. Thank you. I know it was an us. But not enough of us eat those vine ripened type vegetables, and that's where our digestive enzymes come from. And so anyone that's having trouble out there with maybe digestion of carbs or dairy, things like that, maybe they're not full on celiac or gluten sensitive, but they also have get a little problem every time they might eat those things. A digestive enzyme, even protein, a nice great Heartland steak, I'm going to go take a digestive enzyme when I eat that, because it's going to help my body break down the food better, and it's just easier to digest and easier to help my body get the nutrients from the food. So those would be my tops: is a good omega, a good multivitamin, a good probiotic, and good digestive enzymes. Those would probably be my biggest places to start. And then I take probably another half a dozen on top of that, but those are the mainstays I would recommend.
I'm going to give you another one based off my experience with doTERRA, the Terra Greens. So just want to kind of tell everybody about this because it's kind of helped me. I don't really eat vegetables. So yeah, newsflash, I eat meat and rice. So, but what's great about the Terra Greens is in one scoop, I can just every morning just suck that thing down, and it's got all the micronutrients, everything that you would want from fruits and vegetables. So I really don't have to eat them.
Right. That's a good way to get them in. If you don't, if you don't usually like eating vegetables and that kind of stuff, just drinking them.
Yeah. So Lifelong Vitality Pack, throw those Terra Greens on there. And another analysis I did from a cost perspective, if you went and bought all those,
I'm having a little technical difficulty on my end.
Did we lose Debbie?
Oh, no, we can still see you, Debbie. You're there.
Justin froze for a minute and then he went slow motion.
Can you hear me? Uh-oh, maybe it's just me.
No, Debbie, can you hear us?
She may be losing service. Can you hear us, Debbie? We can see her. She can't see us.
I see Debbie talking, but I can't hear her.
Uh-oh.
Well, while we're fixing the technical difficulty, guys.
Sorry, guys. I don't know
there
what's
we
going
go.
on.
There's Debbie.
There we go.
Now we can hear you. So, perfect. Can you hear us again, Debbie? Well, we're waiting to get.
Doesn't look like
While we're waiting for her to get back on, guys. As you can see, Debbie Kale is a wealth of knowledge, which is phenomenal for just in general for our clients as well. And you can see why there's a reason that she's referred 22 people our way, because from a standpoint of just overall health, she's the epitome of that for moms. It's pretty impressive, actually. I didn't even know all this information about her. When I first came into this podcast today, I thought we were going to be really just focusing on, how she's helped us generate, 22 more families to eat healthier, cleaner, safer food. But in retrospect, now I know why 22 people wanted to switch over to Heartland. And it's cool that, we're part of her stack, her overall stack, as she said. She not only focuses on supplementation from her own business and all the essential oils, but she also works with a couple other companies out there as well. So I know Debbie's back now, but again,
Sorry about that.
It's
No
totally
worries.
totally okay.
It happens.
It's technology's good when it works and bad when it doesn't. And,
Exactly.
And I'm sure with every kid online right now, that's what's really going on right now. So, but that's a good segue, because honestly, we could probably talk for an hour about just overall biohacking and health. And you brought up the gut microbiome, which I'm a huge nut on from that standpoint, and I would love to pick your brain on that. But let's do a little segue here into a little bit about, originally Debbie obviously came on 5 years ago. You've already kind of told us a little bit about why you came on, but what if you can, pinpoint, or tell everyone why Heartland was the right fit for your stack. Why come on board here and use our food to eliminate some of the toxins and things that you talked about, a part of your overall health.
Sure. Well, I had started to buy organic fruits and vegetables, and I think that most people have heard about the dirty dozen. The things that if you're going to buy organic for these things, like strawberries, for example. And it's one of those things that if you eat a lot of one thing, let's say eggs or milk or berries, you think to yourself, well, gosh, I can't possibly buy those organic because we eat so much of them. It would be so cost prohibitive. Well, I think we can all agree you can either pay the farmer or pay the doctor.
Right.
And so did I just blow your mind? Did I just drop a major truth bomb?
That's right.
So I said, you know what? These are the things we eat the most. So that's what I'm going to invest in. And I was at Wegmans, my favorite place to shop. I really trust their brand and I love their store. And I'm looking at the organic chicken. And normally I would buy the big 5-pound family 5-pack for $1.99 a pound. And I would trim it myself, and I would freeze in each individual breast myself, and I would put it in the freezer, and that's what we would use for our chicken. And I'm turning behind me to the case, and I'm looking at the organic chicken. I'm like the price difference, it was such a chasm. I couldn't make the leap. And I, like I said, talked to a friend of mine, and she had just moved back into the area. And she says, well, one of the greatest hardships when we moved out of the area is that we couldn't have our Heartland anymore. And I'm like, Heartland, what are you talking about? So she shows me her full freezer because they just moved back. They just got reestablished. And I was like, holy moly. And I pinged the company right away. And I was, grateful to have Justin come over soon after. And it's like the light bulb moment that I had in that Doterra class 7 years ago. It was the light bulb moment with Justin. And when he was telling me about how, the poundage of the chicken in the big yellow styrofoam trays was probably 25 to 30% the water that they put in, and the way chickens are overgrown and they're fast tracked and you really don't want a big chicken breast like that. I was just like, like my chin was just on the bar, just listening to him. Well, not to mention he was cooking me a fabulous meal. I had to give him at least some, give him at least a little reciprocity there. I had to listen to what he had to say, and it was a slam dunk. My husband and I were completely on board, and we knew that was the leap we needed to make. And I've since changed to organic eggs, and I've since changed to whole organic milk. Now, I don't do milk personally, and I don't know really where I fall on the whole drink cow's milk, don't drink cow's milk. I'm an almond milk girl, but I can't get my boys and my husband to make the switch. But what I do buy is organic whole milk, because they're all slender. They could all use the extra fat in their diet. And if that's the way it needs to be for a while, sorry.
Hi, little pup.
Then so be it. We've got 4 dogs, by the way. If you want to talk about Chihuahuas, I'm your girl.
We'll have to bring you on for a whole nother podcast on Chihuahuas in general, right? So
exactly.
I recommend goat milk out there to everyone. Switch over.
Goat milk.
If you're gonna drink milk, I would just go Google it and do some research, but we won't have time on this one to talk about that. But yeah, so, again, obviously, Debbie, then you came on, in terms of the service as a whole. Obviously, Justin wowed you with his, amazing knowledge, which he does have. And, I had the same light bulb moment when I first got introduced to Heartland myself. And it's very challenging. The other day, my wife actually did something that I was a little like, do I get mad about this? I looked at my refrigerator, and there was some ground beef from the grocery store, and and I was like, what is this? What is this? But
number one recalled product in America.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, I'm gonna let this one go. But with that, you obviously have referred, 22 folks our way, and you're a socialpreneur. Maybe someone out there doesn't necessarily have that skill set that you have. How can someone get started with referring families our way? Like, what's the best approach to go explain Heartland to someone else? Because obviously, as you know, our product is from the outside looking in, sometimes people don't really understand it. They see this large freezer, they hear about, the bulk ordering, and sometimes they get confused, or they just like you said, when you looked across the aisle at the organic chicken in the store, you couldn't make that leap. And the same concept, or people think that we're really expensive when in reality we're very reasonable. So what are some ways that people can explain, maybe if you were coaching some of our new clients?
So when I had the first meeting with Justin, he said, hey, I'm going to give you a Heartland buck right here if you write down names. And because I already had a Doterra network, and I know people that were like-minded and using Doterra to benefit their family's health and wellness, I personally had sort of a built-in audience to say, oh yeah, she'd be in with it. She'd be down. Mm-hmm. And the worst that can happen is that someone says no. So that's the first thing. I don't think that if you are trying to help someone be healthier, I wouldn't be offended by that personally. And so I didn't have a problem offering the families to refer. Second of all, I think women in particular, they say, oh my gosh, I love those jeans. They look great on you. I got them at Target. I had a coupon. It's on this rack. It's in that section of the store. They were on sale this week. Guess what? Target's not paying you to send anyone to their store. Or people are really quick to put a review on Yelp for a restaurant, or people are really quick to post their meal and say, oh my gosh, we just had this awesome meal at this restaurant, and this is why I love it, and it's farm to table. That restaurant's not paying you to send people to their restaurant. But nice, Shannon. So the way I see it is we are referring people to products all day long, whether we realize it or not. And if Heartland is going to offer a referral program, why wouldn't I take advantage of that? I mean, why wouldn't I share? Not to mention, the food is friggin' awesome, because the way I think a lot of people are familiar with the idea of like buying a cow and the economy of buying a cow, like going to auction or hooking up with your local farmer. That's a very attractive thing for a lot of people, especially here in Loudoun County where I am. We do have a lot of farms and a lot of farm to table restaurants, stuff like that. And so people are familiar with the concept of buying a cow. And I say, well, if you've ever considered buying a cow to get that low price per pound, so it's your ground beef might be a little bit more expensive, but your filet is going to be a little less expensive because everything is cost averaged. So that's all well and good if you want ground beef and filet. But what if you don't want all the pieces and parts that come with the rest of that half cow? Mm-hmm. Don't you want to be able to cost average your protein, but get exactly what you want? And people are like, yeah, but we don't really eat a lot of beef. Fill your freezer with chicken. It doesn't have to be beef. I mean, Creekstone Farms is excellent beef, but if people don't eat beef, there's so many wonderful options in the ways of chicken and pork and seafood. And so another analogy, I'm kind of an analogy girl. Justin can probably attest to that. If you go and get a season ticket to an amusement park, amusement parks are what, $70, $80, $100 a ticket. If you were going to go to that amusement park 6 times in a summer, your wallet would be like crying every time you shelled out that massive fee every single time you went. But if you get a season pass, you just go. You just go and you enjoy it. And maybe you buy the concessions, the food. So it's not as ouchy when you buy the food because you haven't paid for the entry ticket. So the way I see the Heartland experience is I save money when I go to the grocery store because I'm not buying all the protein. All of the protein is right in my freezer, so I'm saving time because I can just go and shop in my freezer and see what's for dinner this week. And when I was doing the chicken before, I would have to hand trim it and I would have to package it. When I get the 4-ounce cutlets, which is what we use the most, I cut open the package and it goes right in the pan. So I can have dinner on the table in 30 minutes or less. And that's including thaw time because there's not all the water injected into the chicken. And so it thaws quicker. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Once you're in it, it's a no-brainer. And explaining it to someone else, to me, it makes sense. And if you're trying to explain it to someone, but it doesn't yet make sense to you why you're using it, then you're not going to have a successful time explaining it to someone else. You have to really have a why. Like, why are you using it? Why is it beneficial to your family? Why do you feel that there's value in eating things that aren't jacked up with hormones and additives? And I mean, there's got to be a why from you before you can share it to someone else. And I can't believe that someone out there would put down that down payment and get started with the program and commit to this program without knowing why they're doing it. So you kind of have to have your passion and then layer on top your experience, and then it makes sense. It's a kind of an easy one. You mentioned ground beef before, Matt. I actually had an experience where we had run out of our ground beef at one point and we weren't quite ready for a redelivery yet. And so I picked up some organic ground beef at the previously mentioned grocery store. And so I was using that to kind of tide us over until our next order. And then Justin came out and took our reorder. I was like, yeah, I've got to confess, I've got this organic ground beef. He looked on the back of the package, which I hadn't done. I'm just like, organic is organic, right? It was packaged, it was from Uruguay. Mm. I'm like, wow, what? You know, it's from where now? Like, what kind of regulations? What's going on in Uruguay? And why can't it be from a local farm here? I mean, I just really, one of the big benefits of Heartland is we know the farms and we know where the animals are being sourced. And you guys have relationships with all of these farmers. I don't know. I mean, I'm just like a preaching to the choir kind of girl here. I just, it just makes so much sense that when I share it with somebody else, they just look at me like, well, yeah, of course it makes sense because you said so. You know, I would rather buy something on the recommendation of a friend than an ad in the paper or a commercial on television. I mean, you guys aren't buying advertising time on TV or in print or anything like that, because you're taking that advertising money and you're putting it into my free order.
Right.
We would,
it's all word of mouth.
Expand the company through investing in our customers than just throwing
Absolutely.
money at marketing.
That's right.
Absolutely. And that's why direct sales work. That's why doTERRA works. That's why Color Street works, because you're buying from people who you trust, and they've already experienced the product and they've shared the product with you, and then you say, oh yes, I'd like to support you in your business. But it's not even that. It's just, I like the product because you've told me how much you like the product and I trust you. And earlier, the very top of the podcast, you're like, Justin, you and I have been friends for 5 years. We didn't know each other before this.
It's true.
We didn't know each other. It's the relationship that we've developed via this relationship over the years that we've become friends.
And the cool part is both you guys are customers of each other, right? Which is even better, because that's the best form of business in general, is to both love what each other does from a business standpoint, which is great. So
yeah, and it's one thing Debbie said to me was the concept of sharing versus selling. I think that's something that we all kind of have as a value, is like, we have this awesome product that we're really passionate about. We just want to share it. We want to give you all the education so that you can have the veils lift it from your eyes, so you can actually see why this is so important. And then it's up to you to take action. Mm-hmm. So
yes.
Yeah, we share that. And just so everybody knows, we say 22 customers, what that means for Debbie's family, that's a year and a half of free food.
Hashtag eat free for life.
Well, that's 33% of the time she's been a customer here that she's had free food, right? So that means that take those free orders, and if you take, the fact that she's paid whatever it is, that her discount that she already gets is extremely low. Like, she's basically paying less than what we pay for the food here at the company, which is really, really cool. And again, we're gonna move into a kind of our wrap up here, guys, just for time's sake. Again, we can have Debbie back on because she is a wealth of knowledge, and and again, we just want to tell you, Debbie, how amazing you are with obviously being a socialpreneur and a direct sales business, and we appreciate you, helping all the families that you have that you sent over to us so far, and I'm telling you, we haven't even made the announcement. Just get ready. Justin will be giving you a call here in a couple weeks with our new program, which I'm trying not to spill the beans on, but everyone out there that's listening that is into the referral program, just know it just got better due to the fact that COVID helped our business in a big way and helped us generate a lot more business. So we're going to be able to, again, like Justin said, invest back into our clientele and help support them, eating free for life, hopefully. So, all right. Well, with that, we're going to close out. Thank you, Debbie, for coming on. Thank you for sharing your business with us. I'm going to be reaching out to you to talk about some digestive enzymes in the alpha CRS, which I want to learn more about. And
cellular vitality.
Oh yeah, I need some inflammation support here. And then outside of that, we'll let Justin wrap us up. So go ahead, my mans.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Debbie, and making the world a healthier, happier place. You're a phenomenal human being. Love you and your family. Say hi to Brian and the kids. And as always, stay healthy
with Heartland.